morning, everyone. Welcome to another segment of Paint and Coffee. My name is Daniel Cervantes, also known as Daniel the Paladin, and I am the Christian Adventure Gamer. In these videos, I actually drink my coffee while I paint. Right now, I'm painting the Grimm Forest miniatures, and I welcome you to come and sit with me. Sip your coffee, watch me paint, or grab your paintbrushes and grab your miniatures, grab your paints, and paint along with me as I drink coffee. I was going to say drink paint and coffee, but I'm not drinking paint. So, let's get started here. So today we're going to be painting the first player token. And I think I want to create like a marble look. So I'm going to take some pure black. I'm going to take some polished bone. I mean, I should have a white somewhere. A creamy ivory. That's what I was looking for the other day. Oh, there it is. Linen white. And we're going to use some gold for the clasps on the book. And I want to use a purplish color for the book itself. So today's actually Friday. When you see this, it might be Saturday or it might be Monday. Haven't decided yet if I want to upload Paint and Coffee on the weekends or if I just want to save it for Monday through Friday. But anyways, this weekend is actually my birthday, and I'm supposed to have some family and friends over playing games. And I thought about like recording some of our sessions. For one, I'd have to get their permission to do so. And then two, I don't know if that's something you guys would be interested in. So perhaps you can leave a comment down below if you are interested in watching some of my playthrough sessions with my family. Like, we'll be playing games. I know this weekend that they're coming over, we're going to play Folklore the Affliction first. Part of that is so that way I can kind of get a refresher, because I am going to be at the Greenbriers booth demoing Folklore the Affliction, and then I also am running a couple games for them. Running a game on Saturday evening, late afternoon, and Sunday morning at Gen Con for them. So if you guys are in that, that'd be great to see you there. Great to meet some of you. If I get it on the book, that's okay, because I'm going to be coloring in a darker color anyways, a purple. Alright, so now that's colored. I'm still looking for my other miniature holder, because I could actually put that on there. With this one, I wouldn't be able to clasp it onto it because I'm painting part of it. But the other one, I actually have these little sticky pad things fasten it to it. And so just locating it and finding it, I'm not sure where everything still is. I'm still missing my glue, so like I have miniatures I need to put together, and I really don't want to go out and buy more glue because it's kind of expensive. Like I get the Zap-A-Gap glue, which is very, very strong stuff, powerful stuff. I've actually glued my fingers together, so you gotta be careful with that stuff. I will use the linen white for the pages of the book. And I'll hold the book like this, that way I can paint the pages without touching any of that black paint that's still drying. Let's see here. I think this will work. And I probably could have primed this with white, but I chose gray because of the color of the pedestal that the book is on. I want it to match the color scheme that I had in mind. But if I'm painting the book purple itself, I don't really think that should be a problem. And again, I'm not really concerned if I paint any of the book cover itself while I'm trying to do this, because it's just going to get painted anyways. And so changing it up, touch-ups, if you make a mistake, just like in life, you can usually fix it, change something, do it again. If you can't, and then you have to accept it and move on, which is, the difficult part of life sometimes. But if you get stuck on something and you linger there too long, you can't really grow as a person, as an individual. So I'm going to add a little bit more. It's kind of thin. And again, as paint dries, it shrinks. So some areas you may have to put like a second coat. Looks like the bottom is dry enough for me to hold on to now. I want my paint strokes to go across the book because of all the words. And I'm not going to bother painting the words because when I fill it in with a wash, they're going to pop. Alright, so I'll let that dry for a little bit, and then what can I do? I know. So I'll take some gray colors. Got a stone gray, shadow steel, nope. Russet brown, I can do that. I actually have this little dragon miniature there. So I can actually take a small detail brush and kind of color in some of these little bricks. Just a little randomly as I wait for that black to dry so I can kind of get back to that. Hitting some small little bricks, just adding a little depth to it, and I'll add some brown bricks. You might not really see this very much right now, but like just like when we added the wash to that troll, you could actually really see those different colored stones. So when we add the wash, then the colors that we're adding right now are going to pop. Just trying to find random stones to get so it's not too close together. What? Yep. I also want to mention that I was looking on Board Game Geek last night, and Brain Games was added to the Gen Con preview, and Ice Cold 2 is available for pre-order and pick up at Gen Con. It's actually cheaper than other places I've seen. So they want $29.99 for a pre-order. So I actually went ahead and pre-ordered. So I'm not sure how many copies they're going to have available for pre-order. But if you're wanting a copy of Ice Cool and you want to get a small discount on it, I think that would be the best way to go ahead and make sure you get your hands on one. And also I've seen a game by Wonder Forge. It's called Villainous. It's got Disney villains in it, and it's a game about getting some points and doing things and combating their enemies. So like Captain Hook is there, so Peter Pan. You have Ursula, so I'm assuming it'd be the Little Mermaid. You have the Queen of Hearts, so it'd be Alice. You'd have Jafar, so it'd be Aladdin. And by doing various things, you accomplish your task and try to reach your goal and be the first villain to win. The artwork on it is just stunning. Like I watched the video on Watch It Played, and that is just a very beautiful, beautiful done game. And I am definitely going to try to get my hands on a copy because it looks so awesome. So let's see where the pedestal's at right now. Still drying. But I think we can go ahead and do, well, I really don't want to paint the book if I still have some painting to do on the pedestal, because then it's just doing extra work. So my next thing I can do is I guess I can paint some of the dragon. Well, actually, I want to paint this roof. So I imagine it to be more of a black with some shade on it, some kind of like highlights. So I will use, there we go, I'll use that brush. And whenever you are painting and you have to stop to let something dry, instead of just coming back to it, find something else to do, if you can. So like obviously this morning, it didn't take me very much time to get that far on that miniature. But because I'm waiting for that black to dry, I'm kind of at wit's end with it. So I have to like do something else to preoccupy this time. Make sure I'm maximizing my time with you guys and doing all that I can do. Hopefully whatever I'm doing you're learning from or you're enjoying. So what should I talk about whilst I do this? Guess I could talk about my profession. So I am a mental health counselor. I have a degree in professional counseling, and I have a bachelor's. Should I say I have a master's in professional counseling. I have a bachelor's in Christian counseling. So it looks pretty good. Black's probably like the hardest to get off your paintbrush, by the way. There we go. Try to help that black out and just kind of move it around to help dry, because obviously it's got pretty good coverage. So that's about done. So what can I do next? Obviously that roof is still drying. So I will take some, where's all my oranges at? There we go, Phoenix Red. So I'm going to take some clotted red. And I'll give this dragon a dark undercoat. I'm just going to get these wings, and then I'll switch to a different paintbrush. Alright, so switch to a different paintbrush. Alright, so I really like these paintbrushes. So I'm going to put some more clouded red on there. Shake it up real good. So then I'm going to come onto the side of the dragon here. Kind of just paint him. But anyways, back to my profession. What I really enjoy working with is adults. I work with depression, I work with anxiety, I work with trauma. That's where I've focused most of my schooling. Most of my education was in trauma. So people that have been abused or experienced war, or those have been affected by others. And so, those people are hurting in silence, and trauma can do just horrible things to every life domain. People will, try to hide, avoid, and so it's very difficult for them to get out and enjoy the things they used to enjoy, or to experience new experiences because of the fear of something happening again. People are triggered. They sometimes have what's called flashbacks. Sometimes they feel like they're outside of themselves, staring at themselves. But what really happens in traumatic experience is that a person actually loses a sense of emotion because in the traumatic event, they detach themselves from the emotion to get through the experience, and that's how their brain became wired, and so they have a difficult time experiencing some emotions because of the emotions that are connected to the traumatic event. And so it takes the help of a trained professional to help them recognize their emotions and get the two back in line, the emotion and the biophysiological connection. Because when you experience an emotion, you feel it all through your body. And so that's why going to a trained professional and talking about the problem, even though that's hard, it's going to be the most beneficial, because in a sense you will re-experience it, but you'll do it in a new way where you actually are aligning your emotions and identifying your emotions to the situation in a healthy, safe place. If you are untrained and you're trying to help someone in trauma, stop. You can make that person a lot worse. And you do not want them to become worse, because then they lose all sense of coping and they're not sure what to do next, not sure how to live. Which then goes into depression or anxiety, constant worry, agoraphobia, fear of leaving the house. And all these scales, I'll change different color too. I'm just doing it in a sense so I can do my next step. Oh, just got the base, didn't mean to do that, but it's okay. I'll end up changing the color on it anyways. Looks like I need to add some black here. They didn't do a very good job on the mold on this side of the dragon or the house. Well, I guess I can just paint it to kind of look like the leg. Well, I can't, because there's the back of the knee, so it'd be very awkward to make it look like that. And some of the signs of depression is that you feel tired all the time, you have trouble going to sleep, have trouble waking up, you feel sad and hopeless a lot of the time, most of the time during the day, several days a week, several days out of the month. It may not be every day. You have trouble concentrating, so doing things like reading and watching TV become difficult. You lose interest in like pleasures, things that you used to really enjoy doing. So even like sex or just going out hiking, if that's what you used to do, or having the energy to go boxing with friends, or go to the gym, things like that become difficult. Your appetite is affected. You may go without eating, or you may overeat at times. You feel like a sense like you've let someone down. But if you're having any thoughts of suicide, any thoughts of what it would be like to be dead, or go to sleep and not wake up, then you should really talk to somebody. You should go get help. We want to make sure that you're safe. And so, if you're having any of those signs, don't just think that something's wrong with you, but you can deal with it your own. You really need help. Go talk to a doctor, go see a therapist, go see a psychiatrist, go see a psychologist. At those points, you really need help. But that's enough of that. So, with part of being a therapist, and the great part about going to Gen Con is that, I look at games differently. Yes, games are fun. I love the social aspect of games, but what can you actually really learn from games? And so when I go to Gen Con, I'm looking for new games and ways to reach the younger population, young children, adolescents, even some adults, you can reach. And so, and I go into Gen Con and go into Trade Day, I have access to a lot of different things. So, it's a new way to hone my skills. And if I haven't told anyone before, or I know I've mentioned it in a video or two, but this might be your first time watching me, is that I actually went to school for video game programming and game design and game development before I went to college for counseling. But then I went through some things in my own life, got counseling, and realized that that's what I should do with my life. And I was actually really good at game design and programming and game development. And so when you're called to do something else, you just have to drop what you're doing, and regardless of where you're at in it. And so, yeah. So I have a working knowledge of what it takes to make a game, concepts that you have to create, the idea, you have to get people on board, so there's a lot that goes into a game. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to make a game and then just make it. And no, there's a lot of play testing. There's a lot of rules that you have to go through. Like when you make a video game, one of the first things they tell you is that you should make it into a board game to test the rules, test the limits of the game, to see the flow of the game, and that's going to be the most important. If your game does not flow well, and then you need to go back to the drawing board. Trying to get in the dragon's armpit now. That's the difficult part. Need a little more of that red. And I think we're about the place where we can go back to the little pedestal, first player token. Yeah, there we go. The best part of games is seeing the light bulbs come on with kids when they're actually learning something. So like I use some Mayday games to teach certain skills, to talk about emotions, like especially I have a game called Coconuts by Mayday Games. That game I talk about like what happens when we don't communicate our emotions and the little string monkey doesn't throw the ball very far, the coconut very far. But then if we just let our emotions take over, we push that arm all the way down, and it's just like when we get mad, we may hurt someone, but we send that coconut sailing across the room. We're not able to do what we wanted to do because we're too busy chasing our coconuts around. And so it's about making it an experience with games for kids in therapy. And yeah, there are some therapeutic games like Thinking, Feelings, and Doing game. That's a well-known one. I've seen one that talks about My Two Homes, so parents that separate and stuff. But I think there's also therapeutic value in other games that are not technically therapy games. It's just finding that value and utilizing it. So we're almost to an end of our time, which I was really hoping to get this pedestal done. So we're going to go to the creamy ivory. Classic. Tip is dry. That should be enough. And I'm hoping this turns out the way I wanted. So I'm going to get a good brush to do this with. I think that might work. So I'm going to do a dry brushing technique with this creamy ivory. So make sure I get it on the brush and then kind of go back and forth. And if this doesn't make the effect that I want right away, I'm going to go ahead and switch brushes. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. I don't think the brush is stiff enough. I need more of a stiffer brush. So I'm going to go ahead and switch brushes. Let's see here. I guess I'll use this one. Make sure I get some of that paint off. The paint is too thick in some areas. I'm not going to worry about it too much because obviously when I put wash on it, it's going to hide some of that. Let's zoom in on this as I'm doing this so you can actually see better what I'm doing. So make sure I get that paint off. There's the one side. See, that's just looking awesome. It's a little thick here, but when I put the wash on it, it's going to hide that. So. See, that's what it looked like before it was all black, but now look at it. Gives it a real nice looking aged look, almost like a marblish, because all the blending of the colors. And that's why I like dry brushing, because it really blends the colors together well. Now, I was afraid that if I would have put the ivory on first and then the black, because the black is such a darker color, that it would have actually hid too much. Wow. And you want a nice firm brush to do dry brushing with, or else you're just going to get too much paint in areas that you weren't really wanting it to. Get too thick. So look at that. Look at that masterpiece there. Oops, there we go. See how it turned out just because I dry brushed it? And there's the top of the book. So this is going to be purple here, and that's going to be gold. And obviously the purple is going to go around the side and stuff. But yeah, that's awesome. I like the way that turned out. So that's all the time we have. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time.